The opinions expressed in this show are the views of the host and not necessarily that of WTRW, 94.3 The Talker, or the Bold Gold Media Group.
The following presentation is paid for by Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate, who is solely responsible for its content. Portions transcribed.
All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
Good morning and welcome to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with co-host, fellow realtor husband, Pat Devaney.
Good morning, Jackie.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very good.
People say, why do you say that? I said, well, we traveled different trails to get here in the morning. So
Yes, and different sleeping schedules, right?
Yep.
We have with us for the second week in a row, Joanne Wolf, owner and operator of Astrology and All. Joanne does readings and charts for people. Joanne, just give us a little brief update about who you are, please.
Oh, I've been an astrologer for many, many years, many years. Professionally, now, about 20 years. And I was always had an interest in astrology, and it just came naturally to me.
Great.
So, I do charts for people. I do readings for people. I've done parties for people. I've done a lot of things connected to astrology. And I've taught it. I've taught people. I've written articles. I've done a lot.
You know your stuff, as they say.
Yeah.
We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m., where we discuss real estate. We have an exceptional real estate office with many relentless realtors who've been guiding, assisting, and advising clients in real estate for over 50 years.
During the week, feel free to email us with any questions at questions@jruddy.com, and you could suggest a topic. You could send it there, or you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you go to jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab and get a live view of the bustling Dunmore Corners. Actually, we do get a lot of hits. We get about 20,000 hits a month.
That's one of the busiest intersections in Lackawanna County.
It really
it's
is.
Well-traveled.
Yeah, really, lots of going back and forth.
Okay. And we like to ask our listeners, we know that you know people out there that would be a perfect guest for our show. Who do you know? Who could you get us in touch with? We're always looking for new, exciting topics and well-versed and articulate guests. So please don't hesitate. Questions@jruddy.com. And remember, you can connect with us on social media and view our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobile-friendly JRUDDY.com. That's jruddy.com, where we also have all the podcast apps that we feature the radio show on. Okay, Joanne Wolf, let's dive into more astrology.
Okay.
So, astrology and real estate, sometimes people don't connect the two, but there is some sort of connection. Which signs would you say are most likely to buy a fixer-upper?
Oh, I like that.
Could be a Virgo.
How about an Aries?
Yes, an Aries could do that too. Absolutely.
So those are the signs that like a little project to do?
Yes, because Aries has the energy to do it. I don't know if it has the follow-through, but it has the energy to do it. Aries likes to initiate projects.
How about the vision? Because you need that too when you buy a fixer-upper. You need to be able to see what you can do beyond what is there. And and I've noticed there's a lot of people that lack that when they're looking to buy a home. They can't see what it could be.
No, they can't see the potential. They can't see the potential in the house. And that's something I think you're kind of born with. What makes a person an architect, it's like you have to be able to have like a relationship to space, have to also know about the bones of the house, what you really physically can do to the house. People think, oh, well, I'll just take this wall down over here. You may not be able to take that wall down. You got to look into that. So I think that somebody who has a very creative bent, they would have to have some sort of really a lot of it could be Pisces, because Pisces is the artist. Pisces is also a visionary, but that's hard to say. I would have to look at the individual chart and point out where that is in the chart.
Okay.
There are just some people that are born with that knack.
Right.
And most people do not have it.
You're right.
They do not have it. So as a realtor, you should be able to kind of, guide them a little bit. It might be they might just need a little guidance. Say, well, if you did this and you did that and you did this, it's a fixer-upper. So that takes a certain kind of person.
Right.
It takes a person who really wants to get down and dirty, do some of the work, farm out the work they can't do, like the electricity and other things. If their foundation work has to be done or something like that. So, you have to have that willingness to...
Are you describing me?
But you are not an Aries.
No, I'm a Virgo. I don't know what I am.
Virgo, Leo.
Yeah.
Well,
Virgo.
that's kind of, yes, Leo would absolutely. Leo's very creative. Leo's very creative. They have a creative vision, too. So you may be able to look at something and people will say, you're out of your mind.
That's right.
But you do it. You do it, and then they say, wow, I didn't think you would be able to do that.
We had a listing of a building that needed a lot of love. And we bought it a couple of years ago, and I transformed it. And the woman who lives next door, she's my best new friend because she says, that place was terrible and horrible. And it was a garage, but put a lot of work into it. You used to go inside, it was like a rainforest because, the rain is coming through the roof.
Yeah.
And it was all full of junk. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So last show, I think you mentioned who wants a water view to feel balanced. Is that the Pisces and the Cancer?
Yes, Pisces would love a water view. Pisces, Pisces always has to have like a water element in their house, either a fish tank or a fountain or something. That is very beneficial. That's kind of like a feng shui thing. It's very beneficial for Pisces.
Right. Okay. And Cancer
because it relates
too?
to that element that's their inherent nature, Mm-hmm. And they're usually pretty creative people, so, they can have a vision of, what it is that soothes them.
Very good. Cancer, do they like the water? Not so much?
Yes, it's a water sign. It's the crab. It's the water sign.
Okay.
They love it. They love the water. They love being near the water. They love having a water element in their house, too. They're very, very, very homebody-ish, so they'll have a lovely home. Most Cancerians have lovely, comfortable homes.
Well, I'm a Sagittarius, so that's a fire sign. And what I've noticed about some of the artwork that I've chosen, I'm drawn to water. A lot of water is in my artwork.
Okay, so maybe you have a Pisces element somewhere there, or maybe you find water very soothing.
Yeah, maybe. I was thinking that the water puts out the fire. I don't know.
Well, water does put out fire, but fire can also make steam with water.
Okay.
All
right.
It can make water boil, which is often why Sagittarians and Pisces don't get along.
How about who acts impulsively, whether they list their home to sell it impulsively or to buy impulsively? What signs act impulsively?
We're going to have to start. We're going to have to start asking our.
Any sign, really.
We're going to have to start asking our clients, "What sign are you?"
Yeah,
and they're going to think I'm.
You should really say, just as a little amusement, what sign are you?
They're going to think I'm trying to pick them up, but that's okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's an old line.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm old. Don't worry about it.
Sagittarius could be one. Gemini could be another. Because Gemini could change its mind. It could turn on a dime. What's another dual sign? Another dual sign, Gemini. Cancer, no. I think when they make up their mind, they're going to sell and they're not going to change their mind. Capricorn, no. Scorpio, no, because that's a fixed sign. It will not do that. Gemini, Aquarius could be one, too, because it's an air sign. The air signs, they can be flighty. They can be flighty, the air signs.
Okay, let's talk about Mercury retrograde.
Okay.
And how that can really screw up the works.
What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
Well, Mercury retrograde, it means that according to the sky, it appears that the planet Mercury is moving backwards.
Oh, okay.
But it's not.
Right.
It's an optical illusion.
Okay.
What it actually is that the planets don't have these like circular orbits around the Earth. They're more like elliptical,
Right.
Remember the solar system you learned as a kid, everything was in a perfect circle. It's not like that. So when Mercury is very, very, very close to the Earth on that part of its transit near the Earth, they're very close. It's almost like when you're in a gas station and the guy next to you starts to go and you think your car is moving.
Yes.
You know, that kind of thing. Or in the train station, it happens a lot in the train station. You go, oh my God, the train's moving. No, it's the next train. So it's like, it's that kind of thing. It's like this little optical illusion. When Mercury goes retrograde, it means you may have to go over things very, very carefully. Retrograde, all the R-E words, repair, redo, return, so certainly things happen during Mercury retrogrades. Homes are sold, contracts are signed, it doesn't stop. Life does not stop. People get all crazy about a Mercury retrograde.
But it could get bumpy, right?
Very bumpy. You have to make sure that all the papers are in, everything is signed. You have to go over everything very, very, very carefully.
Does it mess with closing dates? Does it delay things?
Yes, it can delay closing dates. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely, it can delay closing dates. It can delay contracts being sent via computer or through the mail. Mm-hmm. Because when Mercury
things
retrograde
get lost
hits,
or broken or...
Yeah, when Mercury retrograde hits, your computer goes a little, because Mercury rules communication.
Uh-huh.
Okay? So when it's going retrograde, things get a little bollocksed up sometimes. Mm-hmm. You get over it. You work with it. You have to work with it. Frustrating is all hell sometimes. Frustrating is all hell. And, I remember once I was teaching a class, and I had written out this whole thing. I put it in my computer to print out, and it disappeared. It was during a Mercury retrograde. Uh-huh. And I was like, how could this be? So I had to go back to my notes. I had to do the whole thing all over again. And then I went and I taught the class. Came home from the class, and the printer popped out the original. It's like, thanks a lot.
After the fact.
It's like that kind of thing.
I don't need it now.
I don't need it now. Right. I don't need it now. I had to go through the whole thing all over again, trying to remember how I worded it. And this is the kind of thing that happens during a Mercury retrograde.
Yes, it's very frustrating.
But one thing about a Mercury retrograde is, if something goes wrong during a Mercury retrograde, it always gets corrected the next Mercury retrograde.
Oh.
Okay?
I got to watch out for that.
And if you have Mercury retrograde in your chart, if you were born during a Mercury retrograde, they don't really affect you.
That's very interesting.
Which people don't know.
No, I never knew that.
Uh-huh.
But I sometimes know that I'm in a Mercury. I don't live by this by any means, but there are times when, the Mercury retrograde is infamous for miscommunication, delays, tech glitches. So
yes.
when all of that's happening, I realize I must be in a Mercury retrograde.
Right.
And so it's good advice to double check contracts, confirm appointment times, and don't rush into major decisions.
No, don't rush into them. Look, you can make the decision if the decision has been, cooking over a period of time, and then during the time of the Mercury retrograde, you finally make the final decision. That's okay. But you don't make it right then and there, You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like if something has been in contract for a while, or, you were getting all your information together to buy the house or sell the house, and that's been going on for months, and then the Mercury retrograde hits, you can still do the transaction. They're done all the time during Mercury retrogrades, and people live and they're happy, and it's quite a nice event. But don't get too crazy about it, because everything can be corrected. You can go over again. You can redo it.
Good advice.
It's all the re-words. Renovate, redo, remember, because a lot of times during Mercury retrogrades, old people pop up into your life. All those re-words. And it's just a time maybe, because the energy of the planet is so close to our planet, they're really like, so it throws us off a little. It also can be an influx of a lot of information that we can't process all at once. So we have to take some time to...
how often does that happen?
Oh, they happen very, very, a lot of times during the year. I've never counted them, but they happen a lot of times during the year. Yeah.
It's not like every couple of years it's something that happens.
No, it happens every, every couple of, not every couple of months. Let me look this up.
No, you don't have to. I just was curious. Off
the top of my head, I used to know it. But,
several times a year.
Several times a year.
It can happen like 6 times a year. It can happen 5 times a year, So you're living through them, you don't even know it. growing up, we didn't know about it.
No.
So, I mean, we lived through them. We made it.
Yeah, but when things aren't going your way, remember, it could be the Mercury retrograde.
I have to.
Yeah. All right. Are there, sometimes we see very emotional people, whether it's our sellers or our buyers. So people that are, I don't want to offend anybody, but are very attached to their home, maybe clinging to things, clinging to their home, clinging and having a hard time detaching. Are there certain signs that?
Oh, that would be a Taurus. That would be a Scorpio. That would be a Cancerian too, because they cling. They cling. The Cancer has two claws that cling to things. Scorpio has two claws that clings to things. Mm-hmm. Taurus is a bull. You cannot move a bull when it doesn't want to be moved.
And then there's people that are as detached as the ones that are attached. The ones that, just don't have much emotion to it. There's certain signs that are detached.
Well, they would be the air signs, I think, more than anything, because they can, mentally work it out easier, which is Gemini, Aquarius, and what's the other air sign? Jeez, I'm losing it now. Libra.
More. Okay.
Libra. So, they could, even though Libra could be very attached to their home, when it's time for them to go, they go. They go, because they're moving on to something else.
Okay.
Because they can mentally work it out. Because they're mental signs. They're more mental signs.
How about location and lifestyle? Do you see certain signs preferring the urban setting?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. But I think that's kind of a mixed bag. I would say that, all young people want to live in the cities. They only want to be where the action is at, And with the state of our cities, I don't know how that's going to go as they start to build their families. Mm. But the more pastoral people who don't mind living in the suburbs, they would be the earth signs again too. Mm-hmm. They really would be. Capricorn is very ambitious, so Capricorn is a stockbroker, so he's got to live near a city. Or he's got to have, a computer set up so that he could be on the pulse of things. And Taurus also. Down on Wall Street, what is the statue that's on Wall Street?
It's a bull.
It's a bull. So, because it's the stock market. That's where they used to, in the 1700s, sell the chicken and the cows. It was a stock market. They brought the horses, the chicken, the cows, everything. That's where they sold them. So, it was goods and services. People bought their fabric, they bought this, they bought that. That's where trading was taking place. It was the first place of trade. So, I would think that it just depends. It just depends on the person, I would say. And I would really have to look at their individual chart to say that.
How about who prefers condos or community-driven areas? Are there any certain signs that would like that?
Well, I think that Geminis would really love... But you can't say. I have a Gemini friend. She said she would never live in an apartment. But they like community. Aquarius likes community around them. Who else? Libra might like it too. If it's in a posh section of town. And of course Leo. Because of the Leo's all about it's got to be upscale for me. I have to have the best of everything. They really do like the best of everything.
Joanne Wolf, owner and operator of Astrology and All. You do readings and charts for people. So how does someone get in touch with you, please?
Oh, they can email me and put in the headline of my email that they want a reading. And that's at JoannEla1219@AOL.com. Or they can text me on my cell, 516-996-5354. All I ask is that if you text me, put horoscope or astrology or something in the header so that I know that that's what it's about.
Very good. Thank you, Joanne. Pat?
Yes, we have a well-maintained 3-bedroom, 2-bath home at 517 Dudley Street in Dunmore for $299,000. This lovely home is in move-in condition. It's got beautiful plastered ceilings. It's got a new carport with a concrete driveway, a large eat-in kitchen. It's got a 3-season enclosed porch, and it's got a large tile bath with a jacuzzi tub. It also has a storage shed in the yard for storage and low taxes of only $2,000 a year. You know, that house isn't on Long Island, right, Joanne?
Oh, we know that.
That's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Dunmore at 517 Dudley Street for $299,000, and that's listed by Gloria Suma of our office.
Thank you. Zillow says that the best time to list a home is quickly approaching, and people realize the most significant financial advantage. Data from last year shows that sellers who listed in the last 2 weeks of May netted an extra 1.6% on the sale relative to selling at other times during the year, and that's about $5,600 on the typical U.S. home. While late April through early May has traditionally been considered prime selling season, the trend more recently has been disrupted by factors like the pandemic and fluctuating mortgage rates. And I think Joanne mentioned that before we started recording, that the last eclipse put us into this disrupted mode, right? This disruption. So we're starting to see rate fluctuations create their own seasonality. This year we've seen mortgage and refinance activity tick up, and that started in late February when rates dipped. That's consistent with what we saw in September 2024 when there was a similar drop. Back in 22, sellers nationwide saw the highest premiums when they listed their home in late March, right before the rates surged past 5%, and then they kept climbing. Buyers that year pulled back as the season progressed, so earlier sellers fared better. In 23, buyers hoped for lower rates, but they held off demand until later in the season, pushing the peak selling time all the way into June.
So when's the best time to put your house on the market?
Now.
Right now.
How about now? Pat.
Yes. Are you looking for a summer or early fall getaway? And there's no hidden fees at the Concord Suites. That's the Concord Suites in Avalon, New Jersey. It's modern suites. They feature a kitchen, a living room with a queen sofa bed, a full bathroom, a private bedroom with 2 queen beds. It's the perfect place for family getaways. It's got 2 pools, a restaurant on site. It's near downtown Avalon and Stone Harbor, and it's only 1 block from the beach. This is a prime spot with access to shopping, boardwalks, the amusement parks in Wildwood and Ocean City. Avalon is exit 13 on the Garden State Parkway. They're just 10 miles from Cape May and 30 miles from Atlantic City. You can enjoy golf courses, casinos, wineries, breweries, and distilleries. The Concord Suites has just undergone a multi-million-dollar renovation. It has the comforts of a condominium with the amenities of a hotel. Book now. They look forward to seeing you soon. And beginning in September, from September 2nd through the 26th, check in any Sunday or Monday, stay 3 nights, and get the 4th night free. That does not include weekends. So give them a call at 609-368-7800. That's 609-368-7800. Or visit ConcordSuites.com and check it out. We've stayed there in the past. It really is a nice place.
Hold on for more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 FM. The Talker will resume in just a moment after a very short break. When considering to sell or buy a home, why choose Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate? Let me tell you why. 70% of home buyers settle for the first agent they meet, and many regret it. 90% of home sellers hire an agent, but was it the right choice? Don't have agent remorse. I'm Jackie Ruddy, and I've been in and around the real estate business for most of my life. And at Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate, we've been selling real estate for half a century, but we do not do it halfway. You deserve better than average. Average doesn't help you. We know it's all about you and what you need. Century 21 is the #1 in brand awareness, is the most recognized name in real estate, and is the most respected in the industry. In this market, if you dream big, you need to move fast. So it makes perfect sense to contact Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate, 570-344-6724, and visit jready.com. That's JRUDDY.com. It's time to dive back into the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, in with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor. How are you?
And we're doing well. We're back.
With Joanne Wolf, owner and operator of Astrology and All. Joanne does readings and charts on astrology. Thank you so much for your time today and last week, Joanne. We're enjoying our discussion with you. So I figured that this part of the show, it's the tail end, we could talk about, we could tie preferred home features to each sign's core values and run down the list. Aries, they're bold and energetic. So what do they like?
Well, they are very, they like dramatic stuff. Aries likes dramatic stuff.
So modern?
Modern. It would be more, I would think it would be more modern on a whole. Although,
open concept spaces, maybe a home
right.
gym.
They would like that because they like space, and they also are, they love entertaining and stuff, so,
that goes with it.
That goes with it.
All right.
That goes with it. It makes it easier.
How about Taurus?
Well, Taurus, they got to have a great kitchen because Taurus loves to cook and they love to eat. And they're also very good in the garden. That's very important to them. They like to garden.
All right. They're comfort driven.
That's like two comfort things for them.
All right. How about Gemini?
Gemini has to have a spot for all of its media stuff.
Okay, they're tech-friendly homes.
They're tech-friendly. They're very tech. Their home would be very technologically if they are anything. They will walk in, they'll clap, the lights will go on, the music will go on.
All right.
I had a Gemini friend that had an apartment like that. I was so impressed. So, it's that kind of thing. They really love, and they have to have a spot for their media. They have to have a spot for their computer and all of their little gadgets that go with it.
All right. Cancer?
Cancer is very homey. It's a very homey, very comfortable. They like comfortable spaces. They like comfortable furniture. It's very inviting. They want their family with them all the time, so usually they have space for family.
And traditional homes, they're sentimental. They like fireplaces, that sort of thing.
Yeah, there'll be pictures of the kids all over.
Okay.
They love that homey thing. Yeah, right, a fireplace is perfect for them,
How about Leo?
Leo?
Glamorous? Dramatic?
Very dramatic. And there will always be, I always notice that in a Leo house, there's always a lion somewhere.
Okay.
A picture of a lion, a statue of a lion, or something of a lion. It's very funny, but they like drama. They like when you walk into their house, you'll go like, whoa.
Okay.
That kind of thing. And it's usually the way it is. It's usually very plush, very comfortable, and very good for entertaining, too, because they love to entertain.
How about Virgo?
Virgo, very neat, very neat, very neat.
Clean lines,
clean lines,
ready,
everything
organized.
very clean.
Okay.
Even if they're into antiques, everything in its place. They have curio cabinets for their collections and, that kind of thing. They're very, very much about, efficiency, too. Efficiency. Virgos love great appliances, radiant heat. They like all that kind of efficient stuff in a home.
How about Libra?
Libra also very, very much into decorating. Very much into decorating their home. It has to be very visually pleasing for them.
Well-balanced, symmetry.
Well-balanced.
Elegant.
And smell good, too. They like to diffuse aromatherapy. They like all of that stuff. They really do.
Scorpio.
It soothes them. Scorpio...
Private? Tucked away?
Very private, very private. They may have a black bedroom. You know what I mean? It's like they really, really,
Moody
really love
lighting?
their privacy.
Yeah,
they don't want their neighbors looking through the windows. They don't want any of that stuff.
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius is like just one big free-for-all, really.
They want
love
land,
to
mountain views.
Well, they would love to have a mountain view. Mm-hmm. Because, that kind of, and they have to have a spot for all their sporting equipment and their cars and their motorcycles and all of that stuff that they love to do.
Capricorn?
Capricorn's got to be in the best part of town. Got to be in the best part of town.
Solid construction, right?
Very solid. A brick home, something that will last for generations.
Aquarius.
Really. Aquarius again, like Sag, a very open,
eco-friendly.
Very open, very friendly because they have tons of friends. They love to entertain.
Unique.
Yes, unique.
Pisces.
Pisces is very
dreamy, tranquil.
Well, yes, tranquil. It would be tranquil. It would have to be tranquil.
Light. Okay.
Yeah, and they also need a water element around them somewhere. It kind of helps them. It soothes them. Either a fountain in the house or something like that. But they're very creative also. So they may have to have a section for where they do their artwork or, they play their music or something like that.
Joanne Wolf, owner and operator of Astrology and All. Anyone can email Joanne at JoanneLA1219 or text Joanne at 516-996-5354. In the subject line or within the text, please mention horoscope or astrology so she does not lose the communication. And we're out of time, and thanks for joining the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. We'll be back in Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m., and we want to wish all the mothers out there a very happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yes, happy Mother's Day. And thank you for having me.